Hi friends, welcome back to the Scapegoat Club. So in this video I've got 10 behaviors that parents can do that can really alienate their child. So if you want to have a good relationship with your child, or you're a child and you're really struggling with your relationship with your parent, hopefully this video will give you some good insight as to what might be happening. Stay tuned and we'll get into it. Hi friends, welcome back to the Scapegoat Club. My name's Jess. I'm a therapist, I'm a coach. I talk a lot about estrangement, difficult family dynamics. And this video is a compilation of 10 behaviors that can really put a strain on the relationship between a parent and their adult child. There's a research paper that supports this, and it also comes from my work on this channel and for working with people who have really difficult family relationships and my experience myself. So let's get going. So in no particular order, the first behavior that parents can do, which can be really, really difficult for adult children, is that parents really can take liberties that they're not entitled to anymore. Ultimately, when a child becomes an adult, they are their own entity. They have their own lives. And parents are not entitled to interfere into their child's life. The child is living their own life, and so unless they ask for your opinion or unless they invite you, then the best strategy is to give them space, back off. Treat it like they're your next door neighbor. Knock on the door and ask to be invited in. If you can do that before giving your advice, giving your opinion, or helping, then that really enforces a nice, healthy boundary between you and your child, where hopefully you can be there if they want or need some help, or just want to hang out and enjoy your company, but you're not interfering or really taking up a bigger space in their life that you're not entitled to. Second problem that can happen between parents and adult kids is that parents don't listen. They don't really listen to what their child is saying. And it can be literally in a conversation, by not letting someone finish their sentences, by telling them rather than asking them, or really not letting what they're saying sink in. So really taking a breath, taking a moment, and allowing what they're saying to really sit with you can really help in terms of being able to deepen that relationship. A third problem that can be really hard between parents and kids is ignoring their boundaries. It might be more of a physical boundary where you pop in unannounced, or you're continually calling or texting. Or it might be a bit more subtle. For example, you keep nagging them. You gossip about them and tell other family members their news without allowing them to do so. Basically, kind of sticking our noses into someone else's business is not a good way to have a respectful relationship with them. Even if they're your child, you have got a good relationship and you just mean well. To keep it a good relationship, respect their boundaries, respect what they're asking to, and please, if they do give you a solid boundary and really tell you what they need from you, then respect that. Don't ignore it. Don't tell them that they don't understand or that you know better. Another problem can be taking sides. And so really this is when you have more than one child. Any quarrels between siblings are not your business anymore. Don't get involved, keep out of it, let them work it out for themselves. Support both of them to the best of your ability, and if you want to mediate, you have to be a neutral person. You can't take sides. Another big problem can be triangulation, where if you can't get what you want from your child, you'll use another child or your spouse to try and influence them for you. This can show up in many ways. When we want something from somebody else and we try to influence them, we have other people nudge them. Potentially it can be, again, sharing secrets that aren't ours to share. So keep your relationship between the two of you and keep your relationship with other people separate. Allow everybody to have their own independent relationships. And if you have any concerns, bring them up directly with your child. And that's the best way to resolve things and move forwards. The next problem we can have between parents and grown children is that parents don't let their children lead their own lives. They're adults now. Your kids are doing their own thing, and it's important that you let them do that. That means allowing your child to decide the jobs that they do, the friends that they have, the partner that they choose, their religion, their lifestyle, their political opinions. You don't have to agree, and you might really, really disagree, but ultimately it's their choice, it's their life, and it's their decision. So I think I'm on problem number 7, which is when parents insist on being right. And this can come up with, again, having your opinion on what your child should do, or also opinions and views on what's happened in the past. Everybody has a right to their own perspective on things, and we don't have to agree to get on. So insisting on being right and not accepting their truth can really cause damage, especially if we're talking about difficult relationships and things that your child is really concerned about. Allow them some space and some grace in that their perspective is their perspective. And so this dynamic of a parent's perspective always outweighing or outranking or being more valid than a child's is very, very difficult in the long term. So related to this is when our parents view their children in the same way, in the same light as they did when they were younger. For example, if you have a couple of kids and one of your kids was not very good in school, always the rebel, always the troublemaker. People change, people grow up, life happens. And so when that difficult child actually grows up to be very mature, very responsible, and have a lot of, say, a really good job or a lot of responsibility, and that's not seen and that's not reflected, that change of role is not accommodated within a family, that makes it really difficult for that child to develop and to grow and to be seen for who they are with their family around them. So when grown children have the space to show their parents who they are now, that's a mature, healthy, growing family, and that's good for our relationships. Along that same lines, really, you don't know your child now. You don't know who they are. They've left home, they have their own lives, they have their own families, they have jobs, they've been having life experiences. Parents don't know their children as well as they think they do. Parents definitely don't know their children better than their children know themselves. So stepping back, learning from their experiences, learning about who they are now is so important to be able to have a more progressive and more mature relationship with them. And the last thing I have on the list is that parents can't assume that things that happened in their child's lives didn't affect them. Again, it kind of comes back to that idea of that we're all allowed to our own reality. Maybe you went through a divorce when your kids were younger. Maybe you had some mental health problems. Maybe there were just difficulties just life difficulties. Those things really affect children, and they affect them differently to adults. And so this isn't about assigning blame and saying that anyone is right or wrong or owes somebody an infinite debt because of what happened. It just means that when a child, for example, says that this incident in my life was very, very challenging for me, that is their reality and that is valid. And so when parents do express apologies or regret or sadness around what happened, that shows compassion and companionship towards their child, and again allows people to move past and to move through. Friends, thank you so much for joining me. Please drop me a comment below. Let me know what you think. Join me on a webinar or for a coaching session, or I will see you again soon. Stay tuned. Bye for now.